Hey, 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 good morning, everyone. Let's grab the bot up here. Welcome back. Um, Apple down, surprising amount, and the market's not particularly following with it, which means there must be something out there that's big, thick, and green and holding our market up. So curious to find out what that is. But yesterday was a bloodbath of a day for all the memes. GameStop down 5%, Bed Bath and Beyond down 35%, and then AMC and REIT down like 2 or 2.5% each. So interesting times ahead. Hey, T Prince, Weeb, welcome back.
Hey there, how are you
I
today?
noticed that someone keeps changing my flare, and now it's SVB.
Yes. Well, I gotta maintain the mod. What's it called? Role titles. So at first we had like Citadel Capital and Melvin. Now we have JPM and SVB. Before we had, what was it? Oh yeah, Hindenburg Capital and Adani Executive. So yeah, I don't know. Bed Bath and Beyond sinks as mounting bankruptcy fears. But like we completely saw this coming. They
Right?
only told us they might be going bankrupt like many times.
Yes, yes, they did.
I don't understand.
I don't know what's happening.
Well, I guess like WWE, right? It can take a little bit of time for markets to really accept with the news.
Who's going bankrupt now?
Oh, the same old Bed Bath and Beyond.
Oh, is it finally official? Because if so, I'm gonna go get me some pots and pans for 80% off.
Ooh, I think you'll be sorely disappointed when they finally do go bankrupt. But it's not there yet. The thing is, even if they do raise like $300 million, I'm not even sure if that's enough to pay off their creditors.
So, opinion, I have a new, every time I drop an egg now, I'm going to call it a rapid unscheduled disassembly.
Disassembly. Why is it disassembled?
If the egg breaks, that's what they called the
Oh,
exploding rocket yesterday was a rapid unscheduled disassembly.
I see, I see.
So every time I drop an egg now, that's going to be a rapid unscheduled disassembly.
That is a really long-winded way to say it blew up.
Rocket go boom.
Keep going.
I love it though. It's like my new favorite phrase. It's
What
hilarious.
I was surprised to learn there's actually like a team dedicated at SpaceX to making sure that if it does blow up, it blows up in the most safe way possible. But in retrospect, it makes a ton of sense.
Well, yeah, because you wouldn't want it to, like, the way it was going in circles to come back down and, like, crash in a populated area or anything.
So
Yeah.
here's the crazy thing about that. Even though it was obviously a failure because it exploded, because it's through SpaceX and not through NASA, the narrative is just like, oh, it didn't go well, Elon, silly boy. Whereas if it was through NASA, we'd hear the whole, what a waste of government funds. We need to get rid of spending money on these rockets. They just blow them up. So, in a way, it continues to justify the government using SpaceX because they're not getting all this heat about stop spending money on these things because it's not being put at the government's feet. So, it's like this weird kind of like, it's bad, but it kind of works out for the government situation.
Yeah. Well, I think there was talk previously about SpaceX potentially going public or selling some shares around the time that uh, Twitter, shenanigans were happening. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that came about, but would you guys invest in SpaceX? Um, you know, not
Oh, I
knowing
would.
anything.
I would totally.
It would
Absolutely.
extremely depend on the valuation because, like, there's definitely a huge upside potential because I think they've actually been launching some satellites too as well. But like, I want to make sure I'm getting in at the bottom and not the midpoint before it freaking drops off a cliff.
Yeah. No, no, of course. Yeah, it totally depends on valuation. I guess what I should be asking is, do you think you'd be more bullish than the average investor on something like SpaceX? Uh,
This is
Any
gonna
thoughts?
sound weird, but I'd be more bullish on SpaceX than Tesla.
Interesting. Why?
Well, because obviously there's always been the discussion that like we're screwing up the planet so bad we're gonna have to leave. So obviously the guy who's gonna get us out of there is gonna be a lot more interesting than the guy who's gonna try to save the planet by electric cars.
I like it.
There. Um, we've got a lot of earnings next week. We've got something like 500 earnings. No, no, no. Maybe 400, 400, 500 earnings. Bunch of banks, FRC included amongst them. Coca-Cola, UPS, your American staples. Any thoughts on those? Oh, sorry. How could I say American staples without also including McDonald's, which is reporting on Tuesday, the 25th? You got PepsiCo, Spotify, JetBlue. Is JetBlue like a fancy thing? I don't know. Pulte Homes for some of the meme stalkers. MO on the 27th, correct? Visible Jaguar. Here, I'll send you a link for where I find all of these. This, by the way, is from the guy who posts our earnings image every week. Guy's been consistent about it for years, so pretty cool stuff.
Interesting on MO. I've been working on a DD on MO for the past week or so, and I'm trying to sort of make a decision on whether I want to enter this position or not before their earnings call. They have a bunch of patents, so I mean, MO has thousands, tens of thousands of patents. Um, it's kind of how they do business, but they've been standing on the sidelines for the whole weed thing for a very long time. But they're going to enter. Um, So a lot of their patents have been published over the last like 2 weeks that are related to, so some of them are machines that make pre-roll joints, and some of them are vapes that would like they don't describe plant in their patents, but they're made to be able to vaporize organic stuff that's in a capsule. So they're weed pens. And they also have stakes in several growers and packers that give them the right to outright buy these growers and packers at any time. So a lot of this stuff is sort of being published and approved over the last like month. And they got this earnings coming up. We got election season coming up. This election season, the U.S. is supposed to pass the tipping point of 50% of the states are legalized, and there's a slim chance that you're going to start hearing about federal legalization. And if you do that, because that is what Mo is waiting for, they will not jump in until there's federal legalization. That's why they're radio silence and just accumulating patents. So I'm thinking of leaps. I know this is bets, but I'm thinking of going very long on Mo and out of the money, believe it or not, on a stock that doesn't move out of the money ever.
How big do you think their potential weed division is going to be compared to the
Yeah, I like
company's
Mo too,
financials?
Hendrix.
I personally feel like Mo can corner it. Like Mo could be the one that you'll see in the convenience stores outside of dispensaries in a package with a brand. And I feel like that's what
Right,
everybody else is after, and Mo's just gonna come in and scoop up the necessary companies to just be able to do it.
right. But
So
I'm
as
talking
far
like
as
right now,
potential
since
to grow,
you're mentioning earnings.
okay, I don't know. I don't suspect their financials to dramatically change this earnings. I expect guidance because they're not selling any pot right now, so they're not making any extra money. So I suspect everything to fall in line, and then I'm hoping to hear some guidance, or perhaps an acquisition that's going to show that they're signaling that they're going to be, a major player.
I mean, there's been the Enjoy acquisition, right? Didn't they just announce that like a few weeks ago? Enjoy, the vape one.
Yeah, yeah, they're moving into that vape thing, but I don't think that that is ultimately like Mo doesn't really fuck with things that are like not proven, and this vape thing is not proven, and I don't see them jumping into that thing yet. I think that their move is going to be into pre rolls because they have patents, they have rights, right? And pre rolls, like rolled joints, are a huge part of the pot market here in Canada. That's already like established as a really good template.
I
And
mean,
like,
if you want to get into like the joints and stuff, like Turning Point Brands (TPB), they do the zigzags. That's a good way to get exposure. Um, if you want to kind of get into like the picks and shovels, like not directly selling pot, but they sell the papers.
yeah,
But
Hello.
yeah, I'm all about those supporting infrastructure sort of companies on big ones. Like I'm all about that, the overlooked parts.
yeah, I think with
But in this
Mo and
situation,
these tobacco stocks is like the reduced risk products, like the nicotine pouches, like those are growing really fast.
yeah. So my thing with this is that I'm going to take my position is going to end up shares and calls on Mo. I'm talking at least a year out. They actually have leaps going out to 2025, which I'm tempted because, like I said, we're waiting on federal legalization, right? So I'm going to enter the position probably early next week, and then double it down when we start getting a signal that the legalization is going to happen, um, or that there's a timeline for it at least, right? And then the other part of the play is looking into some of the smaller companies that they have these stakes in that they're planning to acquire. One of them being Kronos, Kronos. It's a Canadian company. It's got tickers on both exchanges, and it's beaten to a pulp, but they do the same thing. So they do pre-rolls, they have CBD products, they literally make a little bit of everything. And Mo put $2 billion for 14% of the company like in 2019, and they have the right to buy out the entire company. So you know they're going to do that, right? So some of these small companies, right, are going to be acquisition targets for Mo, and could also rip when stuff like that happens.
But like, what's the scale and distribution of these pot products? I mean, can you put them in like 7-Elevens and stuff?
Hello.
Like, what's the scale we're talking?
I actually wanted to like
But
touch
that's a
on that briefly. So I've been to a few illegal states. I'm currently in an illegal state, and they're already in every 7-Eleven. There's just loopholes out of the butt that allow them to do that. So I don't know if one company's going to be able to come in and just take over a market because they have patents. I mean, I'm in
Yeah, but
South
if there
Carolina
is
now, and
one
I'm coming from
company,
Texas. There's already THC everywhere, so those
yeah, but
companies will
let's be
just
real though,
pump
bro.
up. Hmm?
If there is one company that's going to do that, it's freaking Altria.
I mean, the
Fair enough.
problem with
I mean,
Altria is that they'll get sued, right? If their product is illegally in a store.
Well, that's why they're waiting. That's why I'm saying this isn't in play until federal legalization.
Yeah.
When
yeah,
these
I just
guys
feel like
can
the
that's
other
a big
companies will
hurdle.
it's the same
also.
distribution, the same packing companies, and the same trucks, and send these stores their cigarettes and their weed joint, and send them their packs of joints. They're uniquely positioned because they already have a national distribution network. They already have trucks. They're already like everything is already in place for these guys. They just literally need to buy the farm. 6 months later, they're pumping out joints.
Uh, I like MO too, but for different reasons. I just
The
like the core
option chain
business.
goes out to 2025.
I mean, just for cigarettes, even though smoking is declining, like, every year,
Yeah.
they keep raising the prices. So that's a good, steady business they get.
Yeah, and if you want to think about how dramatically it'll ultimately affect their income, just think about how much more money they're getting out of a square foot of farmland, right? Because the process is essentially the same for them to grow tobacco and make cigarettes as it is for them to grow weed and make joints. But how much more lucrative per square foot of farmland is marijuana versus cigarettes, right? When
I
the
think growing
entire
pot is more
process of getting
tricky.
it to the consumer is
And
the same,
yeah,
right?
I think growing pot is more tricky. It's hard to get the consistency, and the market is different. People that, smoke weed, they're a bit more picky about, exactly what, but like cigarettes, like there's a like very, standard formulated product
A
that
lot more
it's
money
very
into
cheap.
security as well
No,
because
you're
people like
absolutely
weed
right
more.
on that. You're absolutely right on that. That weed is harder to grow than tobacco. But that said, unlike other companies like Sundial and other growers, right, which I'm not bearish on Sundial at all. I think they're going to rip through legalization as well. Unlike these other companies, Mo has the ability to weather these growing pains because they have so much revenue coming from so many different places, and they have such a massive bag of cash that like they can take those hits and just keep moving, and it's not going to do a damn thing to them, right? Like, whereas other companies will report losing a crop and they'll get crushed because that's their way of making money. That's literally all they do, right?
Yeah, I honestly, personally, I like BTI a lot better than Mo. Um, they have Mo has been making all these acquisitions in recent years that have not been very accretive. BTI, they've been growing. I think they have the dominant vape product. They have views and they have like 30+% market share, and they're overtaking Juul. And in terms of FDA approval, they're pretty close to getting. There's a menthol ban news, of course, which is really bearish, but they have already tested out a new Newport cigarette and formulation that doesn't use mint flavor, but it has like a cooling additive, and that's starting to sell well. So, yeah, I personally like BTI because of the reduced risk product. They're growing very, very fast, and they're doing really well globally as well.
So, anyways, that's my play. It's not complete. I haven't. There's holes in it, obviously, and I'm still working it out. But that's where
For
I'm.
sure, yeah. I like
That's what
Mo.
I'm moving
It's not
forward.
bad, but like personally, me, if I was to choose between the two, I think British American Tobacco is a good one to look at as well. Word.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing the play.
Oh no, was I just waxing about a play with Hardy in the audience, listening quietly and judging me? How did I do?
Not judging.
I'm so nervous. How did I do?
Not judging. It's always nice to hear an original thought.
Thank you, Hardy. You know, it's funny. About a year ago, you said exactly that. It's always nice to hear an original thought, and that stuck in my head for a long time.
Yeah, Mo is looking really cheap right now.
Yeah, if you take a look at the January 24, 55, and 52.50 strike, there's a lot of value there. I know it doesn't move much, but I mean, those are not expensive, right? I mean,
You don't need a big move for those.
Move, right?
You don't need a huge move, and if they do buybacks, right? If they don't just increase the dividend, if they actually put more into buybacks, that could be a really good play. A lot of these tobacco companies are also really big share cannibals. One of my favorite ones was a Swedish Match. Have you heard of Swedish Match?
Oh, I have not.
No.
They make this product called Zin. It's pretty popular in the States now. It's like a nicotine pouch. But that one has like hockey stick growth. It's pretty crazy. Like Tucker Carlson is using it, and all these, people are using it, and you can't really advertise it right on TV, but like still word of mouth is really big, and it's big in Sweden and in some places in the world. But
that thing that the soccer players are obsessed with right now, and like the literal British government is thinking about banning it because the soccer players are start sucking on these things.
Yeah, and PM acquired Swedish Match last year, and I was in Swedish Match, and I had bought a bunch of shares, and there was a nice takeout premium. It went up like maybe 30-40% on the buyout, but Swedish Match shareholders are pissed because they wanted to keep the Swedish Match stock because their products growing really fast, and they've got way better formulation than a lot of their competitors. because the Swedish culture, they've been doing these sort of like dip sort of like tobacco products that are not, combustible for a very long time, since, for much of their history. It's been a big part of their culture. Like everybody takes a snus over there, which is kind of similar. It's not exactly the same, but yeah. So I mean, yeah, PM is a bit more expensive than Mo, but all these nicotine stocks are pretty cheap right now, and they make a lot of cash, and they can afford to like. Swedish Match was really cool because on their website they would post the number of shares they'd buy back every single day if they bought back shares, and like it was almost every single day they would buy back like tens of thousands of shares. It was pretty funny. But yeah, share cannibals are good companies. If they have consistent profits, they're good companies to own over the long term, even if they don't go up. The share count's going down, and eventually, the market realizes.
Out of curiosity, has anyone here been reporting the posts that I've been putting up in Wall Street Bets DD? I'm trying to figure out who keeps slapping them down.
Wow.
This most recent one was flagged by Visual Mod. So I assume it came from the voting here in Discord.
Not cool.
Yeah, oh well.
I don't know. But people probably look at your plays and don't put in limit orders and then get screwed on them and get mad.
I think the bigger problem is people don't read the part about 1% of my portfolio. That's how I protect myself against the news and like gap risk.
I mean, it says
901, I
there's
post
max
on Wall
gamma
Street
plays.
Bets. Like if you look me up on Reddit, it's all there in my post history. And in the event Reddit cancels me again, even if temporarily, it's also on the website halfonadouble.com. So
Word.
yeah, I figured that's what's going on Negative Road.
Yeah. Haters gonna hate.
No real news this week. So I'm just gonna take my GameStop short Akasha card puts and then refresh them for next week.
Hi everyone, just thoughts here, but do we think I guess what the word's been kind of buzzing in news lately is the R word, recession. I was wondering what people here think about whether or not we are currently in a recession or if recession is coming in the coming months.
If they think we're presently in a recession, then they're going to be in for an unfortunate awakening. We weren't really deep in the midst of the recession last time until you started hearing about strategic foreclosures or the rise of those bankruptcy avoidance companies, which were scams. All they did was they would take a 1% ownership in the house and then file a lawsuit in order to delay the bankruptcy proceeding, and then run away with your fee.
I see, but for example, I'm just looking at the market, and do you guys think that if we were to be in a recession, hypothetically, that stocks would be poised to rally Not like in the near term, but in the longer term from now.
Well, they would need to go down first.
So do we think recession is priced in yet or no?
No.
Alright.
I'm sure Nate has an opinion to share here.
I do. That's actually why I came up. This will be my fifth recession, fourth recession, and so like when we as normal consumer people see the price of everything doubling, we're like, oh, it's a recession. But when lawmakers and big banks start saying recession, they're talking about like the big ones, the ones that are labeled in a different color on monthly charts of the SPX because they're huge drops that have like massive effects on the economy. It's like we can piddle about a Big Mac costing $10 all we want, but that's not what when governments and big corporations are using the R word, what they mean. And so it's important to distinguish between these things.
I see. But in that case, if we were to like be in a recession, wouldn't that would of course mean inflation is going to come down?
It should, but when you combine massive money printing with slowing economic activity, it's entirely possible that we still experience a textbook recession, but without deflation.
I am of the opinion, though, that the money printer wasn't abused quite as badly as some of us suspected. Just given the regional bank earnings recently and the fact that they did seem to stem the flow at as of Signature Bank being the last one to go down. So we're expecting that next CPI report, and we're going to get an idea of exactly how much money they printed to bail out these banks. And then we'll get some certainty. And all markets ever need is certainty in one direction or the other, and they rally. So we're going to be, in my opinion, I feel like it's going to be a rocky road up and down. I feel like it's technicals until we get that report, and then markets will pick a direction. Because the Fed will pick a direction. I feel like there's a whole bunch of uncertainty right now because nobody really knows what the fallout from the regional bank crisis was as far as the actual math.
Speaking of CPI, if you do look at the chart, not like the year over year, but like just the actual numbers and the CPI numbers over time, if you look at June from last year was like a pretty high level. If you were to do the base effect from June of last year, there's a good chance CPI could fall to like 2 or even 3% by June of this year.
You're a madman.
Yeah, bro,
Well,
that's like 2 months.
Between June last year and June
Well, you
this
have to
year,
look
they
at the
changed
chart.
the formula. So it's
None-
a little hard to make an apples-to-apples comparison.
Well, before you call me madman, you should look up the CPI chart itself and look at June from last year and kind of calculate, like, for example, what a 2% increase, or not, maybe not 2 is low, but what a 3% increase from June of last year would look like. And you'll see that that number is not too far away from the number we have right now for CPI.
What's the yield on the 10-year T-note from June of last year?
I remember it was around 2.5% because people were predicting like a Fed pivot around the time. Well, at the bottom, maybe around 3%.
Okay.
But I do predict that like after June, CPI could become stickier though. I mean, it's base effect. That's why it could be low this June.
Do you know how you recover from mass inflation if you're a big central bank?
How do you recover from what?
How do you recover from inflation if you're a big central bank?
Create a recession.
I mean, you recover from
Start an
inflation.
OnlyFans.
I feel like he's gonna tell
There
it.
you go.
Just tell it.
So what you need to do is you need to raise the Fed fund rate, or whatever the equivalent for your particular central bank is, up above inflation, and keep the rate there until inflation goes down before you can start uh, reducing that rate back down. And that means that a bunch of people will go to your bonds as safe investments instead of things like HYG, which would be junk bonds, or other countries' bonds, or whatever. And uh, this is how you ultimately combat inflation. This is how you get CPI numbers down. Now, what the Fed has to do is to keep the Fed fund rate below inflation long enough that it starts to fall off, but at the same time, they're looking to not raise the rate so much that it completely obliterates the economy. Now, the question is, and remains, will they do that in a way that maintains a healthy balance of not completely obliterating the economy while actually reducing the um, uh, the inflation numbers, right? And so, how fast that happens, how responsibly that happens, uh, is a thing that like 8 people are voting on, every quarter, I think. And so, it remains to be seen whether or not uh, we will see a slow bleed out over a long period of time with a lot of indecision, or we could see a Chad like Volker come back in at some point and be like, nope, we're pulling the band-aid off. Uh, anyways,
Yeah, I mean, I understand all
so
that. I studied
okay,
I studied economics in college, which is
really,
why I
and
go so
they
well
they
in
they
economics.
taught you
But
June of this year?
You could have fooled us.
Yeah. Woo. All right.
I mean, I'm talking about June of this year. Yes, if you look at the CPI, like if you just Google like St. Louis Fed CPI, look at June from last year. It's like 294.7.
Yeah,
Use that as
because
a base.
oh my
I
God,
think June could
how
be.
many years? How many years uh of
I think the
sub?
disagreement, dude, is that they disagree with you using June of last year as a base. That's it.
Oh,
Well,
I'm
Uh,
just saying
you're
that like
charting you're
Well,
charting
that is the
CPI
disagreement.
technicals, and you're not taking into account events.
yeah.
not taking
So
account the Fed.
in events,
What
so you're
events are
charting
you
it on
referring to?
technicals, and you're looking at it like resistances and supports. It's not that kind of chart.
Yeah, I mean, I could also say that in June of last year, SPY was at 362. So clearly, June of this year, SPY is also going to be at 362. That is the argument you're making right now.
No, that's not the argument I'm making.
Okay.
I'm talking about like how inflation is calculated year over year, because that's what the Fed looks at, which is a lagging indicator, unfortunately. But that's what they look at.
The Fed in this case has been focusing more on the unemployment rate, which has not yet materially changed.
Yes, it has not.
Now,
But we're
keep in
seeing like
mind,
slack in labor markets. I mean, if you look at initial claims, it's starting to pick up.
do we? I don't think so. And here's why. A lot of the technological advancements that have happened among the Fangmila uh, have left other Fortune 500 companies behind, especially as it relates to the cloud. So for any of the engineers and like tech adjacent people who were laid off, a lot of them are getting hired back in second and third tier companies who are trying to do their own cloud migrations or expand their data capabilities or analytics capabilities. I know this because a lot of the hiring efforts for some of the startups that I advise are still struggling to attract talent. Most of the candidates they're losing or that they make offers to are losing to second and third tier Fortune 500s. So at least that portion of the labor market is not particularly soft. Keep in mind also, uh, at least within the tech layoff space, we're altogether now on the order of 170,000 laid off folks within tech, the majority of which are HR operations, etc., but a growing number are engineers or software engineers. And most of them receive particularly generous packages. So they get on pay, they stay on payroll for 60 days, and then they get anywhere from 3 to 5 months severance. So we're looking at 5 to 7 months of time during which they're not claiming unemployment or increasing the unemployment rate. Now, the first wave, the ones that were laid off in November, had a termination date at the end of January, and then 5 months from that puts us into June. So I'm anticipating an uptick in the unemployment rate as reported in May for April or in June for May, which suggests that this upcoming May rate hike may very well be either flat or a slight increase.
Yes, that's a good observation. I mean, unemployment doesn't take into account discouraged workers because, I mean, there are a lot of people out there that aren't looking or people that don't claim they're unemployed anyways.
But
So
I
that's a
think
good
you
point.
understand. This is something J. Powell has explicitly said uh, the Fed is focusing on.
Yes, but unemployment, like historically, is the most lagging of all the lagging indicators, though. I mean, the unemployment rate as of currently is not at all reflective of the current economy.
Are there any anecdotal stories yet of people who are going into strategic foreclosures or otherwise strategically defaulting on any debts?
Are you talking about households, businesses, or
Anything.
I would say it's not in the headlines or it's not like noticeable yet.
Correct. So the furthest I ever saw it was during the peak of the eviction moratorium, where tenants were strategically not paying their rent and still living in the various units they occupied rent free, and then discussions of the 1 or 2 unit landlords who were suffering because they still had to make those mortgage payments. So until more of those types of stories start appearing, I'm gonna go with there. There is still room to fall. Now, for those of you asking what the play is, it's pretty much harvest what theta and what vega you can, because I'm not anticipating any moves. We're still moving sideways, relatively speaking.
So Hardy, to back up on that, you were saying that like there's more pain to come. I'll say that once we start seeing the pain, like they say, when there's blood on the street, that's when you buy. As they say, I think that would be the time to start buying.
I wouldn't go there just yet. So one other portion that I've raised privately with some others is the potential for contagion within the financial market or within the banking sector. Keep in mind, a lot of these the banking business model basically is a spread, right? You take your deposits, you lend them out at some higher interest rate, and then you pay a savings rate lower than the higher interest rate you pay out, and you keep what's left. That's spread. So prior to all the rate hikes that the Fed put in, the banks were investing in securities that were paying off 1.5% uh, annually over some, let's say, 5, 6 year period. Now, the thing about fixed income markets is that you need to discount the cash flow based on your expected return or your desired return. So if the risk-free environment is 1% and I buy a $100 bond, I expect $101 at the end of a year. Now, however, if the risk-free rate goes up to, let's say, 2%, that same $100 bond will only pay $101 out when I can use that same $100 to get $102 risk-free, right? So that means the principal portion of that original risky $100 bond needs to decrease in order to make purchasing that bond attractive. So you have all these outstanding mortgage-backed securities in the fixed income space that are trading for below par or below the principal value, which also means that the banks which purchased at par value are now sitting on unrealized losses. The current estimate that I have is around $670 billion. And in the event of a rate hike, that number will only increase. So what got SVB in trouble is a lot of deposits were pulled out, forcing them to liquidate or realize their unrealized losses. And because those losses became realized, it became known how underwater they were. Now imagine someone of the size of maybe Wells Fargo being forced to realize their losses. That's the level of That's the level of
Yeah, I mean,
forced sale that would need to happen in order to drop the markets. And that's one of three distinct catalysts that I'm currently paying attention to see when would be a good time to attempt to buy SQQQ.
yeah, I mean, banks historically do not record their bonds at market value. They record them, of course, on their books. They record them at cost or lower net realizable value. That's how they kind of record their longer dated maturity or longer duration bonds on their balance sheet. So there's a lot of skeletons in the closet with these banks. We don't know like how deep in the red some of these bonds are, but what I am confident of
We
is
do
that
know it's $670 billion below par value. What we don't
yes,
know is the distribution across banks.
Right.
Scholar, are you trying to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, so my question is, when do I catch my 50 bagger on UVXY? Like,
Well,
3
that's
months?
part of the trouble. Because UVXY has both Vega and Theta going against it. So you have to be able to predict maybe a 2-week window when this happens, and frankly, we're not there yet. I'm kind of hoping that what's his face, the WeWork guy, with his new company Flow, is discovered to be an absolute fraud, which causes Andreessen Horowitz to lose out the however many billions of dollars have already been invested into him. Newman.
Yeah, why do they keep doubling down on this guy? Like, I mean, what? Anyway, that's like another story. But
Because he's very good at over-promising and not delivering.
right, right.
And then pinky swearing he got it right this time.
So Hardy, just to ask you, are you bullish or bearish from where we are currently? Like, what's your projection on where we're headed?
Neither. I think we're moving sideways for the foreseeable future.
With the VIX being as low as it is, do you think it's possible we could get a big move in the coming months?
No,
That could not be
because
sideways.
no, I'm not looking at the VIX in this case. I'm looking at option open interest across markets, and it's relatively down.
But do you think that could reverse though?
Oh, of course, I think it could change, but it's not changing yet. Miserable Dink. What do you mean IRS only bringing 108 billion? They bring in more than that, don't they? Or do you have a source for your 108 billion?
Are you talking to me?
No. Miserable Dink 8920.
You said from tax day?
I believe that's only W-2s. That's not including companies or other entities which owe tax. Companies pay plenty of taxes, particularly in payroll. That's a tax that's very hard to get rid of. Someone asked what I use to check options interest across markets. I have a subscription to SIBO. Not SIBO, OPRA, the Options Price Reporting Authority. So I have all 1.5 million options contracts and all the data for it going back now 2 years.
I have an idea that I'd like to throw out there if this is a good moment for it.
Sure.
Okay. So I've been looking at things, so notwithstanding your thought that we're going sideways for a bit, I was looking for areas that might perform really badly when recession comes, but we're still at the all-time highs. And I noticed that the casinos are actually pretty much double their 52-week lows and at or near their 52-week highs. And so I have 4 examples for this. Las Vegas Sands, LVS, MGM Resorts, MGM, and Wynn, WYNN. and all three of these are right up on their 52-week highs, and they usually seem to just fall in the toilet during recessions. And so the play that I'm thinking about with IV being so low right now, it looks like we could get some put options at a pretty good price just under the just out of the market right now, dated say 6 or 8 months from the future, with the idea that if the market swung negative, those would print pretty well. And well, that's really the entirety of the idea right there.
So one of those three companies is not like the others. To my knowledge, LVS in particular has much larger Chinese holdings than MGM or Win. Does that change your
That's
thesis?
true. Yeah, it is much more international in nature. However, when I plotted them against the S&P, it still showed the same sort of volatility in line with U.S. recessions. So when
I'm not denying that they move more or less in sync, but as a quick example, if relations between US and China deteriorate, will LVS be forced to write off their Macau properties, causing them to dump much harder than MGM or Win? Or what's the other? Yeah, MGM or Win.
Oh, that's entirely possible. It's a good point. Um, of the three, though, I think I don't remember. One of them substantially lower in actual share price. I think. Oh, I didn't write down LBS's, but I think MGM's actually lower than the others. Of the three, Win seems to have the most volatility. It's swung the highest thus far, and seems to drop the most during a market drop. So, but of the three, I'm just thinking that maybe there's a good opportunity in the near future to buy puts on these, just out of the money right now.
Okay. What about Caesars? They were notably absent from your analysis.
I picked the three I picked before for me. We had to run off for dinner, so I only checked three, and the three I happened to check were Sam's, MGM, and Win.
Okay.
Looking at Caesars real quick. I figured 3 out of 3 was good enough to show.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Edison only. The problem with comparing DraftKings against all these casinos is that these casinos also have massive resort businesses. So it's hard to isolate the gambling portion specifically in order to make an apples to apples comparison with DraftKings. And I think the same could be said for Penn Gaming Decibel. So it's true, while those are gambling plays, keep in mind the casino business specifically is not exclusively gambling.
I also want to point out that gambling on actual sports, I believe, increases during a recession. Well, I believe that the casinos and destination properties decline in line with vacations. I think gambling on sports is largely unaffected by recession. Like, I could be wrong. I'll have to look into the data.
That's only because the fantasy sports arena has been able to prove
Somebody
that they
say
are
gambling 3
games of
times.
skills.
I'm here.
Okay, hang on. I actually have to just say, "Hey, Scald, how you doing?"
Oh, Java and Scald.
We don't
Java.
even sound similar. I mean,
You're really good at throwing your voice.
I couldn't figure out what was going on, but I keep getting it in the chat, and I'm like, Jesus, I gotta go up on stage and at least crush this.
That's hilarious, man. We've been on stage before. We've both talked in chats before. Okay.
Yeah, 1,000%. Yeah, I was here when you had that problem with the tire, and we were talking about it, and just nobody believed me. So I was like, all right.
Yeah, I ended up getting that patch, by the way. But yeah, we're all good. Now, me and Java, we're two different people.
Can confirm.
This
Same person with two different mics.
If you remember, last year, everyone thought that Scald and I were the same person.
Well, I mean, look at your profile pictures. It's not exactly
So what
doing
you're
either
saying
of
is
you
we're
justice.
triplets, huh?
Apparently, yeah. There's a lot of bearded white guys in the Midwest, though.
I mean, if you can't tell the difference between myself and the others 901, I'm not sure how I can help you.
I heard all white people look the same, so I mean, you know.
Well, have
Thank
you
you for
seen
sharing,
JP's
Jay Black. So, what would make why is Caesars different? Are they leaning much stronger into the resort aspect and should be compared to something more like a Marriott, or is there some other reason?
I couldn't say. Maybe they're stronger in resorts or something. But I mean, I'm just looking at the. I'm just looking at the trading activity of the last 5 years, and it doesn't follow that same pattern that the other three do. So that one's Caesar's just got this rise up. So it's been pretty flat for the last year, and prior to that, it had a big rise up to double. So it's just not following. It doesn't have that all-time high at the moment look where it when the recessions come where it just nosedives straight down to nothingville. So it just doesn't feel like it's the same candidate for that sort of play.
Did you play at the last recession or no?
No, I was looking for sectors that are at all-time highs that look like they dropped pretty bad during recessions. And
Well,
so when I looked at like I said, LVS, Win, and what was MGM, they all had the same pattern where when the economy shut down, people just stopped going out to Vegas and playing cards and
yeah, but
gambling.
the regionals did well. So like you got to look at the fact that if there's another recession, um any place that is putting money into the economy runs the risk that people are going to use that as leverage. So if they don't put money into the economy, then it's going to be nothing like the last recession, which is why I wanted to jump on stage real quick. Like the last recession, people forget everything was closed down, but regionals started saying, hey, you can't make the trip out to Nevada, but come here and we'll give you X, Y, and Z. But then after a little bit, they stopped doing that because they realized like people are getting $600 a week in stimulus checks. Those same people were only able to lose 50 before. So now they're coming in and losing 500 a week and still coming out ahead $100 relative to what they would have. So all those regulars were now like prime customers, and all the VIPs they didn't need to market to because you have a regular base that has 12 times the amount to lose thanks to government spending. So if the government doesn't put stimulus checks into degenerates' pockets in the next recession, all that revenue that casinos took in during COVID is not going to be there. So I agree, it's super bearish, but the only thing you run the risk of is the printer being turned back on.
Well, I suppose that's possible, but if you look at the last couple, like if you look at the one that I personally looked at the most was Win, and in 2020 with COVID, of course, it dropped because nobody could travel, but it also dropped pretty substantially during what was it 2008 and 2009, where they were doing a lot of bank bailouts, and I don't think they had stimulus for that particular recession, but if people aren't able to get financing and loans, they're not able to check money out of the house, go through it on roulette, right? But I understand where you're coming from when it comes to maybe trying a bull play on the regionals with the idea, well, if people don't go to Vegas, they'll play at home.
No,
with that.
I'm saying if there's a recession this time, it's going to be pain because they're not going to turn on the stimmy check printer. And people don't realize
Exactly.
they got $600 a month to go gamble week over week. They didn't go to Vegas, they went to the regionals. So you got to look at Boyd, which does like smaller market like Biloxi, like fuck, like even look at how they are consolidating their reporting. They're looking at like downtown Las Vegas, locals to Las Vegas, and then they have like southern states and small markets. I think that the issue that they run this time is that their real estate is super expensive. If STEMI checks don't come in, they're gonna have to start selling properties again.
Right. And so you're actually supporting the suggestion then, right? That
Yeah, I'm saying
even
that
if they
people
do
aren't
get STEMI,
realizing
they're
how much
still
money
not
they
going to go
made
ahead.
just from STEMI checks last
Yeah.
time.
Oh, I totally agree. And like I said, I was able to see the ticker, the 2000 or 2008, 2009, that ballpark, and COVID. I do think COVID's special and unique that you can't compare today with COVID. But the 2008 to 2009 housing crisis stuff, I mean, it showed there very clearly as well. And it also seemed to trace the NASDAQ, or I'm sorry, trace the S&P 500 pretty well as well, just with increased volatility. So it just seems, bad economy, people don't go play cards. That's just the first thing that goes away. So especially with the fact that they seem to be at their 52-week highs right about now. All three of those that I mentioned as examples, they're all at or very near their 52-week highs. So, I mean, the question is, the real question, I think, is when does the market turn, right? If you buy something if you buy something 6 months from now, but we don't start seeing that recessionary panic happen until October, November, these, butting puts on these would just not do any good, right? You just lose the money. So, like, there's a timing question there, right? You have to get the timing in this right within a 6 to 12 month window when exactly the recession starts to cause everybody to just go crazy.
I mean, kind of, but as you were saying, that we're probably looking at the highs right now, so it'll just trade sideways at that point in time. So at least you won't necessarily lose the value on the fact that it's going to go higher. You just may lose a little bit of your profit because nobody can actually time the market. You know what I mean? So, but if you put your puts far enough out, like September is a pretty safe bet, I would say. Then sure, you're going to decrease a little bit of that value on what you would have made. But I still think that if you buy those puts far enough out, that you still should be fine.
Right, and so September is exactly where I was looking, as a matter of fact, or September 15th. But when you look at Win, for example, it's pretty much been hitting its all-time high every day since October, right? With some variance up and down, right? But it's just been trading up and up and up since people came out of COVID, right? It's just been a track up for the last couple of years. And the other two examples, the same story as well, right? Where they're just on that track up. Now, Win is starting to flatten out a little bit, but I don't know that there's a whole lot of exuberance left, anyways, right? I think everybody's starting to get nervous about. I mean, what bears are left to think that they can throw their money away, right? Or, I mean, what bulls are left to think they can throw the money away?
Market open.
Thanks for the time. I appreciate it.
Is everyone checking their portfolios?
That is what we do at 9:30.
Yes.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
Bro, you guys see that guy that made $100,000 off a $27 bet on Pepe the Frog shitcoin?
I thought that was a joke.
No, I mean one dude actually did do that successfully. I mean it is a joke, right? As I was saying earlier, it's just a meme and a dream, right? There's nothing fundamental at all behind this coin. It's going to go to zero, et cetera, et cetera. But
I'm
man,
going all
we
in
are,
based on that.
yeah.
Does anybody know what happened to the sound, the music?
Yeah, it definitely disappeared. It doesn't look like anybody moved it to audience or anything, so.
How you're supposed to do it. There's a way to bring it back. I think you have to like tag it in the comments and it comes back.
I tried pinging opinion. He has me blocked.
Oh man, an abandoned Dollar General in front of a trailer park. This would be the ideal location to turn into a strip club. Ideal.
That's hilarious.
Oh man, I'm just saying.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine trying to manage strippers, dude? Fuck no.
Dude, imagine it. My wife used to run a strip club. Literally, she owned one.
Your wife's a stripper?
Oh, I mean, a long time ago. Also, yes, but that she ended up running her own club, and she
Right on.
bought a strip club. She was wrangling all those girls, you know.
Was it called Chippendales?
It was not. It was not. It was down in the Carolinas.
Okay, Captain.
Dude, this reversal on IWM just saved me. My puts. Yes.
Do you trade that a lot, IWM, or is that just something you jumped in recently?
I trade SPY more, and then QQQ and IWM depending on if I'm bearish. Like if I'm doing puts, I'll trade IWM or QQQ. Usually premiums are better. Obviously QQQ is for tech and IWM is for Russell 2000.
Right.
Well, it's small caps, right?
Mids.
IWM is for the Russell, yes.
Yeah.
And most people are trading the Russell 2000, but it's probably a good time to remind folks that the Russell 3000 is 98% of the U.S. economy. So.
Yeah, isn't that similar to VTI?
So, yeah, real quick, I'm thinking about taking on this Peer Cycle dip. I saw someone in the comments just say, "Look at Peer Cycle. Holy shit, yeah." But I don't know. I mean, technically in August they should be out of money entirely. It should, you know, in theory.
I'm still holding my pure cycle. So, puts, by the way, not bullish at all. But yeah, they've been getting hit recently, so hard to not keep playing that.
Hey, can someone check and see if Spirit Airlines got halted?
Not on my list, no.
I only see it at 0.12, so I doubt they would halt on that.
The only thing halted so far this morning is Wang and Lee Group and U Power.
Something up with Fidelity then, because on mine it shows that it's not up or down, that it's at a even 1734.
I think the most shocking thing here is there is a ticker called Wang and has never been brought up until now.
Wang and Lee Group, ticker WLGS.
Oh, Wang and Lee Group. I thought the ticker was literally Wang, like WANG.
No,
No,
I
it's
just looked it up and
WLGS. It's not Wangs. They missed an opportunity there, though. It would have been
Well, if it's,
WSB's spirit animal.
no, that would be if it was Wank.
Ryler, you there? Sorry for interrupting. Ryler? Marco.
Riley, your boyfriend's calling you.
I don't. I can
are you
hear you,
are you a
but-
mod? I'm sorry for interrupting. Are you a mod? Are you a mod yet? Like again, or how?
Oh no, because when I left the server and came back, my
Yeah, I can't remember my
mod
Discord
powers
password,
disappeared.
so I can't get fucking two-factor and yeah, but like this is not a proper discussion right now. So
So
anyway,
you can just
hello.
ping me in the channel.
Oh, yeah, let's chat about it. Sorry, guys. Bye.
Cool.
No, keep talking. I'm very interested. Where's this going?
Yeah, there's
I was
been
done,
a
man.
lot
I
of
was done.
spam in the meme stocks channel, and the mods don't usually check it, so we were granted access to delete it. But then I left the server and came back, and my spam deletion powers were removed. So now there's just like porn in there every once in a while.
I hope someone is fucking watching the channel because I'm approved as mod, but I'm too retarded to actually get it the two-factor authentication going. So, yeah.
Time
We'll
for
figure
me
it
to
out.
spam some shit coins over there.
Yeah, you should see some of the things people are trying to spam.
So I saw someone in the chat say they just got into Rocket Labs. Is that based on the rumor of them announcing some sort of merger or heavy partnership with Amazon? That way, I've been looking at possibly buying into Rocket Labs based on that.
Yeah, it's basically Rocket Lab selling a ton of their. I can't remember what it's called, but they're basically selling a shit ton of it to potentially Amazon. And based on the DD and articles, it sounds very much like it is Amazon. I think the CEO even slipped up on an interview and almost said Amazon. So Rocket Lab actually looks pretty good if you look at the option chain and the stock itself.
Yeah, he was like our partner. I mean, we have something with Amazon. Like he like almost said they had a partnership with Amazon, like out loud, and then he walked it back. Yeah, I saw some people have a bag on Rocket Lab. I have a bag on Astra Space, boys. Let me tell you about that bag. It is like the budget. It is the, Walmart store brand of space travel. That is what this is.
Oh, Yiflo said he can't speak today, but tell them to look at Procter & Gamble and XLP. Boomer stocks will print today. Oh, XLP's consumer staples, I think.
Yes. Procter & Gamble reported before 7 a.m. and they've already moved 2%.
Sweet. It's big for a boomer stock.
Also, I put it way up in the chat, but SAP. I mean, I didn't even look at the reports on these, but the market loved them anyways. Procter and Gamble, SAP, SLB, HCA. Who else? There are a bunch of them, and the market loved them all. Even though I saw that at least one of them was red, so it must have had good guidance. But yeah. Actually, a lot of those were the ones I was like, okay, yeah, we've got Netflix, we've got Tesla, but like, what about the actual economy, and not just like tech memes? So it makes me less bearish overall to see that like companies that actually make stuff and provide services that aren't entertainment and Pepe memes are okay right now.
Just wanted to remind everyone that Tesla is still in the red.
I mean, it doesn't really help when your car rocket blows up, right?
Oh my God.
Oh my
Speaking
God.
of things blowing up, Wish announced share buybacks. I'm telling you, these 2025 calls that I bought on Wish for like $0 are going to go to the moon, because all I need is for this stock to pump once between now and 2025, and these calls are going to print.
Like right after they announce a share buyback.
Yeah, they just announced it that they're doing a share buyback for Wish, so they can take a gander at this. I feel like Wish was like the worst of the meme stocks. Like, of all the meme stocks, it was just like objectively the shittiest.
I heard meme stock, and I was like, okay, what's going on?
I'm talking about Wish announcing a share buyback and how Wish was the shittiest of the meme stocks.
Right, yeah. What's the next meme? Like, what's the AI meme stock? Like Nvidia is not an AI company, is it? No.
No, there's a few. There's Big Bear, like BBAI. There's SOUN, SoundHound. That one's currently
I feel
being
like
pumped right now.
I want to know which AI company is gonna be the next Apple or whatever.
Oh, I don't think any of us can
I
predict
think you're
that.
gonna have to. You're probably gonna have
Of
to do
course
some
not.
value
Like,
investing there.
I want to hear your theories. Silence is
Oh, it sounds
palpable.
like Skynet. Skynet's
Yeah, I mean,
stable.
what's going to be Skynet like? I don't know. I feel like AI is going to pop in some way or fashion. I mean, everyone knows that.
I mean, like some of those stocks, like BBAI, was up 600%.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's already, some of them already popped, right? So, yeah, the
Are we
question is
late
where
to the
they go.
game?
Right.
I don't feel like we're late to the game.
I mean, that's true. Hard to tell sometimes.
I'm of the opinion that the majority of the AI money to be made will be in traditional companies that utilize AI in new and innovative ways, and not necessarily AI companies.
Interesting. Yeah.
So,
That's
what
actually
are some
probably
examples?
smartest stock take. And What the hell? I just got back here. The people that I pay to mow my lawn haven't been here in like a month. It's getting ridiculous.
I'll do it for you. How much?
You can get the AI to mow your lawn, maybe.
And actually, they do make like Roomba type lawnmowers where you could do it on your phone and then it just goes around your lawn, but you have to like set up a perimeter fence.
Yeah, I saw that. They have like a Roomba. They have like a Roomba lawnmower now, where like you release it and just like mows your lawn for you.
The only thing that I'm worried about is like, does it know if there's like squirrels and other stuff in the way?
It's been a long day, folks. I think I'm gonna go take a nap now. It was a good 17 minutes.
We'll see you at Power Hour.
The fuck did everyone go? You guys are supposed to educate me.
Watching this dumbass market figure out which direction it wants to go to this morning.
For real, dude. I'm looking for plays. I'm on TradingView, looking at stocks.
TMI came in just a little bit warm.
I have to say, I've been listening into this Discord WallStreetBets discussion for a while, and it's very educational. I appreciate it a lot, so that's why I have to try to get you guys going.
I'm sorry.
Western Alliance looks like it's about to retake 40. There it is, over 40.
What's today's play?
Why don't you go to Hardy's WallStreetBets Reddit page and you can look at some plays there.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yes. Friday market vibes. We have a vibes discussion. What's the vibe in the market today? I'm sorry, I'm a bit drunk. Is anyone else drinking?
It is not even 10 a.m. over here in the Eastern Standard Time Zone, so not yet.
He's over in Europe.
I'm in Finland, man. I'm in Finland, so it's like.
Hey.
Oh, so it wouldn't even matter if it was 9:30 in the morning.
It's almost 5 here, so I'm in the clear.
That means we can drink too if it's 5 o'clock there.
Yeah, that's how it works. No, cheers, folks.
Sweet. I need a breakfast Guinness.
Is that a good idea? But in Europe, though, like you have beer with breakfast for like regularly. It's like it's a Europe thing.
HBO.
How many?
No, you have like one, like in Belgium or Paris.
It's like a mimosa.
Yeah, like, and they sell these 25 centiliter beers. It's like it's ridiculous, but they take one of those in the morning. It's like a glass of beer, and like with breakfast, they get up and go into town and like have this small glass of beer with friends, and then they go to work. I think it's very civilized.
I think we should get on board with that.
Yeah, yeah.
You'd be down with a breakfast margarita.
Not sure I could do that as my first drink of the day. I mean, I love tequila, but I think I'd have to go more of a like a brunch sort of thing on that.
It's the ultimate breakfast
Yeah.
drink. I mean, Bloody Mary.
Maybe like a
obviously, but,
watermelon margarita.
like drinking beer for breakfast, I have to tell you. I mean, like if somebody would
Scroll wheeler,
make
are
me
you away from your mic?
I don't know, am I?
Sounds very distant to me, at least.
Oh shit. I should not be. I'll restart the call. That usually resolves sound problems.
Well, I don't want you to get dropped off if no one's here back in.
Yeah. Hold on.
Trump. How y'all doing this morning, baby?
We're all good over here. How are you guys?
I'm up like 3.5% on $4,000 worth of FRC. Let's go, baby.
Did you sell your re? Justin?
Say that again, baby. I couldn't hear you, brother.
You sold your re just a while ago, right? You didn't get back in.
I got back in FRC yesterday.
Oh, I was talking about re because I remember you bought that a
re?
while ago.
Yeah, I got out of that a minute ago.
How do you even say that out loud? Like, how do you say? How do you say that out loud?
So
I
what's
love
your
it.
thesis on FRC?
That's the new meme stock, man.
Hey,
For
yo,
sure.
why is Wall and FRC going up? What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Why the fuck are they going up so high? I didn't think they were going to go up that much. I figured they'd go up a percentage or two, but damn, 3%? I think Wall's up like 5%, right?
I'm trying to pick why too. I thought you had a thesis.
Oh, yeah, I meant to say I was up on BBBY 42%. It was like 42 or 50 something odd percent. Whew. I got like a 500 shares for free, bro.
Wait, what?
I'm holding them bitches too.
Do I know you, by the way?
Everyone knows everyone here.
Yeah, I pretty much know everybody here. They're pretty chill. A lot of people don't like me because I'm a fucking retard, but it is what it is, bro. I can't help it. I am.
We're all retarded.
In some way or another, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I'm retarded about these bank stocks though. I really do gamble money in fucking Wall and FRC.
We all are, sir. We all are. So what about bank stocks? Like, what do you do with bank stocks today?
Well, I'm not buying in. I would not tell anybody in here to buy in. It's already up. Like
So
now's the
puts.
time to sell.
What's going on? Like,
You could get puts on it.
Just more good news. That's all. I mean, I feel like overall the bank stocks, they're not going anywhere. These people they're going to be successful forever. They don't need to get bought out. I don't think they're going to get bought out by no government entity, none of that shit. Like they're just going to fucking go back to normal. And if they
has it
don't,
gone out of fashion to like buy out the bank? I mean, like
go ahead.
Are bailouts out of fashion?
I
I
guess.
think it was just a lot of fear mongering.
I think it's fear mongering, bro. I think anybody that's not in these, in my opinion, is missing out on a good opportunity. I mean, yeah, some could go wrong, but a little money won't hurt. Won't hurt you too bad. Because what it seems like to me is they already know what's gonna happen. They wait to tell us until the very last second, and then shit hits the fan.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to work. I mean, I would like it not to work that way, but like, that sounds reasonable. What else than bank stocks, man? Like, I need discussion here. You guys have to keep talking. It's like, don't stop because I'm talking.
So Mullen is another one that's up 18% today. Virgin Orbit is up 9%. These are some of your favorite meme stocks.
Isn't that the one that just filed bankruptcy?
I don't know. Probably. Bobby's up 21%. Wish 40%. All the other ones are either like under 1% or down.
All I know is that the reason Wall went up was because of the earnings shit. Like they just had stronger than expected earnings. That's all I can see in the news about it.
Well, it's nice when you can point to a data point and be like, that was the reason. But there's a lot of times they just don't follow any logic.
Well, yeah, that's how the stock market works now. It's like, people just make money off of fucking it's like just pure volatility, I guess. Like people being scared or being bullish, even for no reason, bro. That's what happens with like Bed Bath & Beyond. That should happen every day.
What's happening now with the Bed Bath and Beyond to cover the memes?
I think some people are under the impression that they're going to get bought out, so they're still buying
By
in.
who?
Others think they're going to go bankrupt.
Yeah, I think
So it's
Amazon
like
will buy it out, bro. I'm not even kidding, because if
Not
Amazon bought
Ryan.
it out, that would be so fucking good, bro. Because
well,
I don't think,
Amazon,
go ahead.
but they do a lot of and I'm saying I agree with you because they do a
Yeah.
lot of zombie things where they'll buy like malls to turn them into distribution centers, and if they already have a footprint like Bed Bath and Beyond does, then it's only natural for them to expand their network that way.
Why don't they just turn it into a fucking shipping center? Like, I mean,
No one's gonna buy
imagine
it.
they did that shit, bro. Just turn it
No
into a
one's,
damn shipping center.
no one's gonna buy Bed Bath and Beyond. They're gonna wait for it to go bankrupt, and then there's gonna be a bidding war on the assets. Because you buy them
Well,
now,
yeah.
you buy their debt too. They're gonna wait till they go bust, and then they can just buy a baby at a discount, because that's the only profitable part of the company.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna hold, even if it does go bankrupt. I think I'm not buying any more Bed Bath and Beyond, because I got my own money now, like like free shares and shit. So I'm just gonna hold it. And if it does good, great. If not, I'm not getting back in that shit, because that's really the whole point of what I do. I just try to get free shares and then get the fuck out, because a company like that, bro, is not. I wouldn't be putting any of my money in that shit if it wasn't a gamble.
Like you guys should, you should populate the meme stock channel and sort of help sort of carry it through, because it's a new channel, and I'm like honorary mod there because I'm not yet mod there, but like I got the perms, I just can't figure out my Discord password, but like you guys should go there and post intelligent shit about meme stock so we don't get fucking stupid spam, and like there should be a discussion about meme stocks, I think.
I'm not gonna lie.
Meme stock I've been waiting to ask about.
What's up?
So Porch, I don't know what a convertible bond is, but it looks like in their little news on TD Ameritrade that they sold $33 million in convertible bonds that basically were priced at $25 per share. But the stock price has been going down, so I'm not exactly sure what that is or what that means for the company.
And somebody can tell me if I'm wrong. I think a convertible bond is like I think it's where an individual owns it and they get awarded that, and then they can convert it into cash, or maybe the actual company can award itself it. I'm not sure.
So they got some guy to buy a bunch of bonds. It says dated 2028 at $25 per share.
I know it's
I mean, that
convert to
sounds
stock.
like somebody has some hope in this company, yet the stock price has been going down ever since this news hit. I guess maybe because it's a liability.
I mean, how much is the stock worth right now? You got it.
It's like maybe a couple 100 million. The visual mod kept kicking it out whenever I tried to ask a question on here.
No, I meant the price of the actual stock, not like the.
Dude, the price is at like $1 right now. It was up at like 2 or 3 not too far back, but
maybe that's a dilution. Then they just diluted the fuck out of the shares because they sold it way higher than what it's actually worth. That's wild.
So they like created more shares and then sold them way higher?
This is where I get confused. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know how to explain it. In my head, I feel like, yeah, I guess you could kind of say something like that. It sounds right, but again, I don't really know much about. I mean, I know about bonds, but I don't know about company bonds like that.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of curious about.
A convertible bond is a bond that can be converted, given the requirements of the bond, into shares of stock of the company. Okay, so why they do that is so they will have to pay less interest to whoever purchased the bond. It's supposed to make the bond a higher quality, but it's not always what the result is.
Okay, so right now the company has a market cap of 100 million, and they sold $33 million worth of bonds. So some guy's just willing to pay 3 times more for the company than what it's currently at. Or I guess they really opened up 3 times more shares if he converts all his bonds to shares.
Yeah, that sounds
Okay,
right.
that could explain a big drop then.
Yeah, because that don't sound right. Like, imagine you buy like you're just taking more money from the company than they actually have per share. So it makes sense why the rest of the stock would go down. That's kind of how it goes in my head, at least. That's how I feel.
Yeah, because if he cashed in all his bonds, yeah, then they'd have to convert them all to shares, and all of our shares would be worthless.
To be honest, bro, if I would have seen that, I would have been so confused. I wouldn't even thought about this. That's crazy, though. I'm glad you mentioned this because honestly, I've just never. Whenever I see shit like that in the news, I know it's important, but I don't. I guess I just never thought of something like that before. Maybe I haven't seen it either, like exactly that way. That's crazy, though, bro.
What is the ticker symbol? It's not PO.
Porch, PRCH. I've kind of been following just because I like the idea of what they do, and if people ever start moving and all that stuff again, it probably pop a little bit, but.
All I can say was today was a negative day until all my stocks decided just to go up at open. Holy shit. Everything's up.
What's going on?
Hold on, I'll tell you. Let me open up my app. Fucking Sheba's fucking up. Nintendo's up. Bed Bath and Beyond is up. FRC is up. The only thing that's down that was up was Raytheon, but I don't have much of that. I got VTI as well, but I don't own enough to really talk about it. I own like a quarter of a share. Fuck, dude. I just hold it. I don't know why. I can't remember if it pays dividends or not. I don't think it does though.
I was trying to get some AT&T, but it kind of shot up too fast for me.
Bro, whenever they release the NDAA, it seems like they are down, and then like a few months later, all of a sudden, boom, shit shoots up. Every time, bro. I love AT&T for that reason though. Honestly, I should have bought some, bro. I kind of feel bad now. Damn.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing. Like they beat on earnings, but they missed on revenue by like a little bit, like 0.5%. So they just like suddenly tanked.
Yeah, so damn. Let me look at this shit. Oh. I'm on a walk right now, so if y'all hear any cars and shit, I'm on mute. But let me look this shit up.
Discord is pretty good at tuning down the noise.
God damn. They went from $20 a share almost to fucking
like
damn.
17, yeah.
Woo.
I just didn't have the capital to move around real quick to grab it.
I wouldn't have expected them to do this actually. Shit, man.
Yeah, that's like way deeper than I ever would have expected a stable company like that to go.
Well, AT&T, bro, they're going to be around forever. At least I feel like until they get bought out by somebody. But I think they're already bought out. Doesn't Disney or some shit own them? I feel like there's one company I think owns them.
No, they just split Warner Brothers off.
Oh, okay, got you.
But yeah, they're one of the big 3 mobile people, so nobody can really buy them out without facing a bunch of monopoly antitrust shit.
Bro, that sounds terrible. Ugh.
And also, what is this, a 6.3% dividend?
Hell yeah.
It's just their options chain has like no
Yeah.
premium on it.
So
I'm not gonna lie to you.
AT&T,
Do what? Go ahead.
AT&T and Verizon have some of the biggest dividends, but the problem is when you look at total returns, AT&T started underperforming the market in 2016. I couldn't really figure out why, but I think over the past year or so, they've been coming back up. So, I mean, just for the dividend alone and the fact that they're a consumer staple that you can't really avoid, like everyone needs some kind of internet or phone service. So collecting that dividend is good.
I think T-Mobile is hitting them all good for a while.
I'm only bearish on the company overall. Like, you could make more money somewhere else. Like, because I feel like with the prices of fiber line communication wires and shit like that skyrocketing, and then not even to include fucking conduit and shit like that, fucking skyrocketing. I have a really good friend down here that owns an electrical company, and bro, he has made so much less, like just so little money this year. He was making like a few million. Now it's only like a little over a million. But bro, I'm just being real. Like, I would not put my money in it only because companies like Google and YouTube and all these other places, Amazon, whoever, like, this shit is affecting them. So it's obviously gonna affect the rest of them. Like, that wire and shit they got in the ground is expensive as fuck to maintain.
Like their infrastructure and stuff.
Yeah, bro. That's why. So look, I was listening to these YouTubers who do tech, right? And I'd like to watch them, but they explain it better than I can. But I'll say this: like, they're explaining it like it's costing them quadruple what it costed them a few years ago for this fiber line. Like, and they have to use that for their entire infrastructure. So that's why you seen Google around the time they rolled out YouTube Premium and shit like that. They just started doing that because they had to. The price on their company, like, it might not affect them the way it affected a small company, but it still affected them good enough. It was still a lot of money. So if you can find out how much they spent on that shit year over year, it's a big number though, especially for Google. But yeah, AT&T and all them, bro. Yeah, I stay away from them. I think your money's better in somewhere like SPHD, somewhere like that. If you're looking for dividends.
Yeah, you haven't pointed out the obvious stuff, and that is this week has a lot of next week, excuse me, has a lot of earnings coming up. So really, kind of what I was considering doing was seriously, people are gonna laugh, but I was considering buying both kind of off topic calls and puts, so long as that they aren't, so long as they don't have a giant premium. But all we have to do is find a communications company similar to AT&T for next week. Guys, that's the thing to do. Forget AT&T for right now. It moves everywhere.
That would be a good thing if you want to hold it for a little while. But I mean, shit, I don't know, man. I just don't buy shit like that anymore. At least not as much, because I feel like it's getting less and less and less over time that people are even using companies like that. People like Google, they're taking over the internet space, like completely taking over where I live, the entire space, bro. In places like HOA, they're taking over. And guess who they want? They want Google. They don't want some Wow or Xfinity or whoever running in their neighborhood and fucking up their internet. So that's why I feel that way. Like, I'm not bullish long term on these companies.
Can I be the meme stock guy and ask about AMC? What's up what's up the cost to borrow? That sort of fascinates me. Like, what's it at now? It was like fucking 200% some last time I checked.
Wait, it was what? You said it was up
Like
3,200?
like 200%, like the cost, like
When's the last time
cost to borrow.
cost to
A
borrow?
while ago. I'm not sure what it's at now. Like
You
I was just
stock
like,
was up,
wait, what?
bro. I was gonna say if they were up that much fucking money, I was gonna feel like the dumbest motherfucker ever. Cause bro, I own so many fucking shares of that like last week. Bro,
Uh-huh.
I was gonna beat myself up for that. God damn. Shit.
Yeah, but what's up with that cost to borrow is my question specifically.
I have no idea, brother. Anybody else? Anybody else got an idea on this?
It sounds completely crazy to me. I don't know.
Well, there's always the obvious one. There's not as many, shares available.
Uh-huh.
What is the stock price at?
5 something or other. I don't know. Last time I checked.
$5?
Well, last time I checked, it was 5 something.
Yeah, it's about 4.95. It looks like right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. There you go. Now, I remember when I took my like Series 7 and Series 63. So for those of you who don't know what that is,
Sir.
it's that's a registration for securities. It's just to become a stockbroker here in the U.S. But the shorting allotments, a lot of times they set that allotments. They set it at $5. So above $5, it's easier to borrow, cheaper to borrow the interest, and below $5, well, there you go. It's going to be more expensive because, well, that's where they set um, that's where they set their cost to borrow at 5 and above or 5 and below, you know. And I'm not looking that up. I just remember from when I took my licensing exams. I was never a stockbroker. I was a currency broker once. But I mean, I took the exams. But again, it's not a law.
Did you get your 6.3 or 6.5?
Series 63 and
Oh,
Series
you got
7.
That's
Yeah.
what they were trying to get me to do at the bank. They were like, shit, if you can sell all these products, you can sell some stocks. I was like, shit. Man.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mean, I would take more Hardy's route though. They get a degree in finance and then maybe substitute it with good
You want
work
to be credible, you know? You want to be
Yeah.
credible. You don't want people coming in your office being like, well, this fucking goofball don't have a damn degree. He ain't serious about this. I don't want to go with him. And that's how people think. I'm not gonna lie. I probably think about that way. Think about people that way too.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to money, though, when it comes to computer programming, robotics, or business success, yeah, this whole different ballgame there.
Honestly, bro, I just keep my money with Vanguard. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I get enough money that I can switch over to Vanguard, like I got enough money, I think now. I don't know how much you have to have like a real stock trade account over there, but once I get a little bit over $1 million, I'll feel comfortable sending some of that over to Vanguard. Shit, man.
Just $1 million. That's just 1 million. Okay. All right, man.
No, I mean when I get like a little over, maybe like if I get like 1.5 or 1.6, like I'll send some money over there because I feel like doesn't Vanguard own like all these fucking big ass companies too? Like they own Apple and fucking Amazon, or not Amazon, but Apple and fucking Heinz brand and shit like that.
You know, in their mutual funds, yeah, technically they're
Well, they have
shareholder.
control over the company. It would make sense that their brokers know what the fuck is going on. I really want to get an account at somewhere like Vanguard, bro. That's a nice place. I don't have one where I live though. I don't think. Uh-oh, Scroll Wheeler.
What's up, man?
What's up, dog? How's it going, brother?
All good, all good. How are you?
I'm chilling, bro. I'm just fucking going on my walk, trying to get my 10,000 steps, and then I'm gonna go do some weights. And
You're a Chad, man.
I hope so, man. I'm trying, bro. Trying. I'm just living it one day at a time. Take my win when I can. Try not to lose too much.
I'm cracking my last beer here in Finland, and it's like 5 o'clock or something. It's fucked up. I need to get going. Say again. Sorry.
No, you good. What beer you got?
Cheapest possible fucking store brand lager.
Hell yeah, brother. Piss water. I love it. I can't drink beer, bro, but I'll drink liquor or some shit. I like liquor. That's good.
I had this nice I had this nice stone. Hold on, like this. I had this nice Lithuanian beer though. I bought a can. It was on sale, and it was like on some unfiltered Gubernia shit. It's like
Damn.
that was really good.
Bro, you should
Yeah.
get some bootlegger. Do you know what bootlegger is? Get that shit. That shit is
I
so
don't know any
cool.
I do not know any bootleggers, and I
Get
I
some,
do
bro.
not.
You want some $3 liquor that actually tastes good? Get that shit, bro.
Right.
You,
Yeah, I should get to
I
know.
think I
I
have
should
them.
get to know those people.
Yeah. Alexander's funny as hell, bro. That motherfucker said, "That's what my body is made of." Hell yeah, man. That's funny as
Beer
hell.
made this body.
It's water. Hell no.
Beer made this body.
Shit. You know what they say though? Everybody's got. Nah, I ain't gonna say that. But everybody does have piss in their water though. I ain't gonna lie. All the water you drinking piss water.
Yeah, yeah. It's quite the fact to consider.
Yep.
So
Piss
should we
water.
get back to stocks or something? I feel as responsibility as a mod. I feel like I need to like get the discussion back to stocks somehow.
Yeah, I do too. Every time we go off topic.
Y'all got me thirsty. I went and got my breakfast Guinness.
Oh, nice. Cheers, man.
Oh, I don't. I'm. Fuck, man.
But
What else?
There's this stock play. It is Weight Watchers, and it was brought up by Loose Ventures, and apparently the deal was that Weight Watchers gained the right to market, but not necessarily profit from the sale of this diabetes drug to their clients. The ticker symbol is WW for Weight Watchers. So they're
This is a new meme stock. I'm gonna shit post Weight Watchers now in the meme stock channel. Go on, sir. Sorry.
No, I don't think it's not a meme as of yet.
It is now.
Oh, someone did it already.
No, I'm doing it right now. It's like I'm making it a meme right now in the meme stocks channel. Weight Watchers. Is it like two W's? What's the stock market? WW? Is that like the ticker?
W. Yeah. So
Thank you.
anyway, right away there's about 5 of us. I don't know, 3 or 4. It's in between 3 and 5. I don't know. Some people don't speak up, but I don't know. So we all picked up a puts, and so this morning, yet the past 2 days for me not been very good stock day. I haven't lost any money, but
Yes.
I just can't get. I can't seem to get anything going. But anyway, it started going down. About an hour ago I guess so at the open, and I was hoping. I was hoping. Loose Ventures, he has a put on it, and on this one, um, on this one, when it has gone up, I'm strapped. I can't do it now, but when it has gone up, I shorted it for like a few extra dollars, and then bought it back. So I guess that my put is in there on the cheap side if you count that in, but we're gonna see. So we have that one going. That is a legitimate stock play. Okay, you said stock plays. That's a legitimate one. It has worked against us. Okay, so that one's not working. But it looks like it might. There's no reason for Weight Watchers stock price to go up because of this contract that they have to sell this diabetes drug. Is someone else talking, or I got?
You were saying, did we lose you there, or were you finished?
You know what I would do? I would play earnings. I'll talk about the earnings that are coming out Monday, Tuesday, and all next week. That's what I'll do. I might leave the banks alone, but I might start taking a look at who is going to have less than who's going to be below their estimates, and hopefully strongly below. Let's actually take a look. See, most issues are down today, I think, because that's what it was yesterday, and this day was the day before.
Looks like we got a lot of tech doing earnings next week. Microsoft on the 25th, Alphabet on the 25th, Amazon on the 27th.
Y'all getting ready for this bull flag on FRC, baby? I'm getting ready for this shit.
So we're doing ASMR now?
Hell no, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying to create a fucking bot on Twitch right now, though. I'm trying to make that shit up.
This channel, that's super gay, man.
Well, I got shit to say. If you're not done, if you're done talking,
Oh no, also I want to hear more about your Ecolab play, if that's still going on.
yeah, it is. All right. Well, I wanted to talk about a couple of things. So everybody knows I'm playing FLNG, which is a liquid natural gas shipping. Germany, shut down 3 of their reactors for maintenance. They have nuclear reactors. They say they're getting the energy from France, but Germany is the same country that the Nord Stream pipeline terminated at. So I'm guessing that they're going to have an increase in importation of liquid natural gas. This is bullish for FLNG. And generally, just these low gas prices, I think, are bullish for shipping because people like to burn it when it's cheap. Moving on to Intel, they've announced that they're going to start making ARM chips, which is good because I think that they're the main focus of where the CHIPS Act money is going to go to when it gets released. That's a $200 and something billion subsidy to chip manufacturers and research and development for American chip production. I think they're going to start making, and Lisa Su is one of the underwriters of it, but AMD can't directly benefit from CHIPS Act. So the fact that Intel is going to start making ARM chips is bullish for AMD because they'll have more. They won't have supply chain issues and all those other things. So it makes sense like why she would write that thing. It's like you're gonna write $218 billion worth of basically handouts, and you're not gonna get any. That's weird. But now I see the connection here. It's through Intel's process ability to make ARM chips now. Also, Intel Arc A750 beats the NVIDIA RTX 360. This isn't really news, but it's finally become official. Intel they made a video card sector earlier last year. They came out with a couple of different ranges of graphics cards, and they were able to undercut NVIDIA's 3060 card by $100 and still beat it on performance. TSMC's income statement is out. I'll post this in the chat if anybody's interested. But 40% of their revenue comes from high performance computing. That's 40 fucking percent, and then another 34% of that comes from smartphones. So you're looking at like the majority of their income is from the high end chips, which I believe in my thesis that Intel is going to leapfrog ahead of them and become the next leader. So they're basically gonna take, you know, they're very, very optimistically, they are going to take about 78% of TSMC's revenue and market share. And then the last thing that I wanted to say was yeah. It's not it's going to be a long-term play, and it's not it so what they do is they recycle water for these semiconductor plants, and they are not up and running yet. So Intel's got 5 planned, and TSM's got 1 planned, but it's an enormous facility, of course. And they're not up and running yet, so they don't have the contracts. But if you get in now, that's could be a good thing. And just hold it until these foundries are all built up, and then
But
they'll
it's not
start.
pure cycle, right? It's not pure cycle that you're talking about. With
Hold on one sec. So yeah, so it's not priced into the Ecolab's price either. I think that their entire exposure to the semiconductor market is not known at all by anybody in uh, except for people like me who are just stupid and look at shit and read. And Bill Gates has $170 cost basis, so anything below that is a buy. And also, they are chemical treatments, and I think that Bill Gates is well, not Bill Gates, but I think that all of this media coverage for chemical spills that are going on in Nevada and Ohio and Texas, and train derailments of chemicals, is actually a bullish thing for Ecolabs, because they do water processing on like level 4 water processing, which is like you have level 1, which just like makes non-potable water. Then you got 2, which is like drinking water from aquifers. Level 3, which is not very common, but it'll take wastewater and recycle it into drinking water. And then like level 4, which would be like hormone extraction out of water and actually making and not only killing microorganisms, but also extracting all of the bad chemicals out from, like, birth control pills, testosterone supplements, all that other crazy shit that has been going on in the water. That's Ecolabs.
Your thesis on Ecolabs?
ECL.
To the moon, man.
Like, it's funny because it's like Bill Gates is heavily invested in it. He's the number 1 shareholder. And I'm just like, and I'm seeing all these like chemical spills and shit, and I'm just like, man, can this guy call it? I mean, he had a whole bunch of money in Moderna before COVID, and now he's got a whole bunch of money in like this Ecolabs while all these chemical spills are going on. It's like, wow, boy, this guy is like got a crystal ball. You know what I'm saying?
You're saying the fucker is psychic?
Well, it's either that or he's actually, propaganda master, and he's getting in on these companies and then making a huge media storm.
But I mean, of course, Bill Gates knows the plays. If anyone would know the plays,
bro. I'm just Look, I'm not trying to. I'm just making a joke here. But obviously,
Yeah, me too. Me too.
All I gotta say, bro, is if we're gonna act like these people aren't playing a higher level game of chess than we'll ever be on, we're fucking lying to ourselves, bro. I'm just being real. Like, these motherfuckers got money and they're gonna make money together. That's just the way it works.
Wait, you guys are making money?
Yeah, bro, I made money today. I'm gonna tell you how much I made too. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, I made 176 today. That's all I made so far.
yeah. So, like, anyways, if the break even price of Bill Gates is 170, then I think it's a safe buy under 170. I told people to buy when it was 159. I think it's around 165 right now. It's not a very volatile stock, but you're gonna start seeing